Okay, hopefully you can see me. It is dark here, 5:45 a.m. on my way to work, but I wanted to get a video out and not make any excuses as to why I didn't. So I want to talk today about managing expectations, because one of the things I find that leads to the most unhappiness for me is when I have expectations for a person or a situation and things don't go my way. And what I've found is that when I've created this picture or this image of how things should be that aren't congruent with the reality, at least the unhappiness. And I think that's what the Buddhists talk about when they talk about how desire is the root of suffering, because inherent in desire is attachment. I want this thing, and if I don't get this thing, I will be unhappy. So therefore my unhappiness is tied to whether or not I get what I want. And that's pretty much a plan for failure from the jump. And so how do we combat that? Like, what do we do? Well, I want to give an example of that recently for me. I mean, there's a couple of examples I can give, but one example would be I met up with a buddy who's married, and I was expecting me and my other friend to, like, the three of us to just hang out with just the boys. It didn't happen. He brought his wife along as well, which is totally cool, but in my head I expected for it just to be the boys. However, I did not communicate that. So I feel like communication is a big part of this. Communicating what you want or what you envision and seeing if the other person is open to that. In another example, which happened recently, something I've talked about, I expected to continue seeing this one girl. It didn't happen. Now, in that situation, there's not much that I communicated and expressed the desire for that. There's not much else I could do. So in these situations, control is really the barrier. And so if we're able to relinquish control and go with the flow, as they say, we will certainly live have a better experience of life, I'd imagine, in this context, right? Because the more we try to hold on to something, the harder it is to let go of it. And so by kind of having a loose grip on life as opposed to a vice grip, if you have something in a vice grip and you yank it, it's a good chance you're going to break it. But if you have a loose grip on it, it's able to kind of be relinquished much easier. So managing expectations is huge, and this is something I've learned from Stoic philosophy as well, is that you can't control external events, but only your reactions to them. And if I were to look back on the situations that were most challenging for me and how I overcame them, it typically involved some form of suffering, sure, but just allowing it to be. So I think so many times, or a lot of times, we have issues because we don't sit with our emotions, our feelings. It's probably pitch black right now. You probably can't even see me. We don't sit with our emotions and our feelings. We just move on to the next thing or distract ourselves with other things to numb it. And so I would say, when it comes to managing expectations, and if you don't get what you want, sit with what it is that you want, what that was, and also the feelings that arise around that thing. And you might have a lot of clarity towards that there. I found just last night, just sitting with these feelings, whatever it was that was coming up, and just being like, okay, we're gonna just let this cook. Let the feelings cook. and the emotions and express them in whatever way you feel appropriate. I've been feeling a bit called lately towards picking up painting again. And I often use ChatGPT for advice. I use it as a bit of a therapist, admittedly. And one of the things that it was saying was, in regards to painting, was set an intention, right? So think of the emotions you wish to express and just let that guide your hand as you paint across the canvas. So perhaps that's the best advice, is to just set an intention around expectations, around disempowering emotions and feelings for whatever you're going through, and let that intention guide your hand through the brush strokes across the canvas on whatever canvas you're painting on, metaphorically or physically or what have you. So anyway, that's what's coming up today. Today begins the first day of my 12-week year, so a whole new approach to how I go about things. The goals are set around my content creation, getting out of credit card debt, and becoming a full-time personal trainer. So that's where we're at with that. Right now I'm at about 9-10 sessions a week. The goal is to get to 30 in the next 12 weeks to be considered full-time. The goal is to make 6 episodes of this AI series I'm working on in 12 weeks. And the goal is to pay off around $2,300 worth of credit card debt in the next 12 weeks. So hopefully you'll be along with me for the journey as we get this done. The videos will probably be similar in style to this one, but I also think it'd be cool to do some live streams, so we'll see. And I had a lot of fun yesterday with this. I'm gonna do it again. If you made it this far, comment a random emoji, whatever you want. Just comment some random emoji in the comments. It was just fun. Somebody commented yesterday, I think some lizards or something. Just comment some stuff. I replied with a bunch of printers and fax machines. So let me know. And if you have any thoughts on this or anything you're going through, feel free to drop it in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.